Key number one to trusting God. God causes all things to work for your good. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that God causes all things to work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. It's impossible to imagine how the bitter hatred of Joseph's 8 older stepbrothers who sold him as a slave could ever be a good thing. And how could Potiphar's wife lusting after young Joseph and accusing him of rape become a good thing? In prison for 2 years, a criminal, how could God ever use that for good? But he did. Joseph was God's provision for the Israelites. Joseph would save his people, but Joseph, the spoiled favorite son of an overindulgent father, wasn't much use to God. He had to develop godly character and integrity. 11 years as a slave and 2 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit were God's preparation for the work that God needed him to do as Pharaoh's right-hand man over Egypt. Psalm 105:19 says, until the time came to fulfill his dreams, the Lord tested Joseph's character. Proud, spoiled 17-year-old Joseph learned humility. God purged his heart of hatred and bitterness against his brothers and Potiphar's wife. He learned to forgive. He learned to be totally dependent on God. He became a man who could be trusted. Greatest of all, he learned to trust God, even though what was happening to him in life made no sense. God didn't waste Joseph's suffering. He used it for his good and for the good of God's chosen people. Joseph's dreams did come true. 23 years after his brothers sold him into slavery, his entire family bowed before Joseph. Joseph forgave his brothers and joyously welcomed his family who were reunited with him in Egypt. If God promised it, and he will do it. He will work all things for your good because you love him and are called according to his purposes. And God does have a purpose for your life. God has plans for you, detailed, specific plans. Ephesians 2:10 says, for we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared. He prepared them beforehand so that we would walk in them. God is the Redeemer who turns bad things into good things in our lives.